Krakow makes some noise in this bitch!
You all knew it was coming eventually. And as far as this pistol round goes, it's going to be really interesting to see right now who's going to get those first connections, because this is a really good spread of players for Gambit in the A-bomb site. They've got to push an alley as well. That could come into play later on, but first for now is this initial defense. And Trent absolutely providing a masterclass of USB work here for the Astralis boys to admire. Still 2 players left for them though.
Hello.
That's a good start back into it.
Hello, sweetheart. P250 on the pistol round, almost doubles the range of the headshot. Speaking of which, Hobbit from the back. It's used from the front. That's the pistol for Gambit. That is the start they needed. For me, Gambit are an underdog at this point, especially after some of the rounds in the end of that previous map. They need a good start here, and that's the first step of getting one. No bomb plant for Astralis. It will be a force buy from the team. Device with $1,000 in the bank. He may be AWP, no Kevlar later on. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But for now, he is rolling with a deagle.
And what can he get from it? It's always pretty scary to see those deagles there at T-main. Just takes that one kill to sort of create some space and more opportunities for the team. Looks like Adren though is going to get the kill with the help of the smoke and the UMP here. Oh, lots of damage coming in. It's like Astralis are going to be feeling quite sore. Device still is working for that pick, but he can't quite find it. Gambit have been playing well in denying him the angles he's looking for there in the A yard. So it's time to reposition here for Device. And Astralis really just still looking for some damage at the very least, some pressure onto that Gambit economy, if nothing else.
What remains of Astralis gathered above the B-bomb sites. Adren close on the train. He does not want to allow a plant to go down. Glaive will look to create some space, putting the smoke on top. So we can move out with it, but maybe moving out a bit early. Dozy is there, peppering him. Glaive doing his best not to get headshot. And Dozy is forced to reload, but Adren is there. And so is Mo with a long-range kill. Perfect round from Gambit, exactly what they needed. Only 2 kills for Astralis so far.
Yeah, again, you know, Gambit absolutely the underdog. The good start for them is a complete must to have, and it looks like they're well on their way. Obviously now Astralis, they don't really have anything to work with in this round, though, not even a single deagle, which sometimes you might see. I doubt the Device would invest in that. Definitely needs to keep his money up so he can get the AWP as soon as possible. And Gambit with all the grenades here, it's going to be very difficult to even get a bomb down in this situation with no assistance from utility. So Astralis, all they have is numbers, and so I suppose they are going to aim to use those numbers as best as they can to get that bomb down. But this is a good chunk of info there for Hobbits.
But look at Dupree. Look at Dupree. Glaive is coming in for company.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Glaive making steps. Oh, no! Glaive, you gave his position away. You baited your teammate. He could have had some money, but he took it all away. Like the tax man, but it's an inside job. That is a disaster for Astralis. It could have been so much. A nice poem was being written, but the girl just tore it up. She's not interested in that. It's going to leave Device to try and make some money with the UMP. And he won't do that either. Just like when there was that round on train where there was a headshot from a teammate through the wall, which gave the position away. Glaive running on the stairs makes Hobbit turn around, and a knife opportunity comes, and then it goes. He got the headshot as well, but it's a Glock, so...
I'm so sad
He's
for
like,
him.
oh, come on, man, why are you running on the stairs?
Well, it's the AWP on Device now. That's what we've been waiting for. And Astralis looking to go for a default, just get some information, get some map control, and just let Device work a bit. But we have perhaps no time for that. Doja gets flashed in through the smoke. Quick pick off there, trade ensues. And this is an interesting spot because Gambit probably look at this as, oh, all right, we have some throwaway weapons here. We've got some good money in the bank. Let's take some risks and try to throw Astralis off. And perhaps you could argue that that play did so to an extent. And with Hobbit in a forward position there with the cover of smoke, now it's just down to whether or not Dupree has the presence of mind here to look for this. This could be quite problematic if Dupree is to push, but he might not still. We'll see. This looks like he is. And there Hobbit lies in wait. And Dupree searching for it, making some noise here. There might be a moment. Bob pulls up, pin the grenade. That's the time to go here. Oh, where did that flash come from? Insane. Hobbit thought he had that one in the bag, but he will be sorely mistaken.
Yeah, you might think he could have waited longer, but he doesn't know how many people are around that corner, so he opts for the element of surprise. But boy, is that a calamity. And that might pull Zeus towards the A site. He's in connector, but towards A, Adren alone towards B. And there are 3 Astralis players coming in his direction. Clutch King of 100 ping has a lot to do in this situation, especially as Mo is still on a scout.
So grenades come in and Adren sort of cheeky reposition here or there. Lots of work to do here, could really make a big impact, but he'll go down for free. Perhaps the chances of being dashed, we'll see what else Zeus can do. That's a good start back into this one. Health is low, the incendiary will pressure them heavily. Glaive, will the Molotov actually spread there? Looks like he is. Oh, just able to escape it in time. Down to 16 though. Zeus knows exactly where he is. Easy frag for Zeus, already with 2, but it's gonna have to be 4 and a defuse at this point, as that bomb does still have a lot of time. Can Zeus do this? Can he pull it off? On the corner, another engagement, another chance gone for Zeus. How many more will he get in this situation? Being baited by Dupree here. So frustrating for Zeus. Needs a break, needs something to go his way. Able to steal away a frag, but there's surely no time. A defuse has to come in. Device now puts him off the defuse, and that's the round 1 for Astralis.
I think he was trying to at least take Device with him one way or another, but he can't even do that. Astralis successful in the first buy round. And there you see the corner. That's where the noise is coming from, in front of our desks here. Hobbit, man, just his first bullet wasn't on the head, and he's like, how did I mess this up? He may even blame himself from that point for the loss of the round, but it's in the past. It is history. You can't change it. You've got to look forward to the future. Gambit on the buy once again, with a better buy than Astralis. All things considered, much more utility than a tease. And they're not afraid to go aggressive again. Hobbit makes his way down the IV position and has smoked it off.
It's really cool to see how proactive Gambit are trying to be around Ali and just generally the plays they're willing to make. Of course, you know, they did have some throwaway sort of weapons to do so with, to encourage them into those decisions, but it's still very cool to see them not afraid to take the fights to Astralis. You are at this point, they've sort of abandoned Ali, and this was information that was already gathered, and this is why we have a very forward setup from Gambit in the A yard. So that's what that aggression from Hobbit has given them, a better setup to deal with what could be a rush into A. However, that's not actually the case here, and we are going to see a very big B push here from the Astralis side, and there's 2 players to respond to that. We've got Adren and Dozier.
The grenades start to stream in at the 45-second mark. You see the rotation. Dozier holding a line, looking away just in time to avoid getting taken by Device, but Zipex will pop a drain in the meantime. It's a great hold from the CTs. Mo with a kill between Doziers, and he will follow up with a second one as well. That leaves Dupree alone. The money was already tight for Astralis. They're going to get reset. Dupree looks to hold on to what he has. 20 seconds left. There's not really much he can do in this situation. Gambit off to a good start again. A much needed start for the CT side, all things considered. Adren said they were a mess in practice, a complete mess. Arguing, bickering, but it all came together in the major, and they have come this far. And they want to give it their best shot now.
Dozier was just a turret in that B bomb site. Amazing work from him there. Immovable. And now Astralis have a lot to think about as we see the freeze time tick down. Obviously, there's only the AK that Dupree saved to really work with at the moment, and they're probably going to be encouraged to buy some pistols. We'll see a few. They're not going to go for a force buy. Some teams definitely would with that level of money being reset as they have been. So hard times ahead here for Astralis, but this round is not over. It's definitely a winnable one. When you've got an AK in play, there's Deagles out there as well. There's always a chance, and we see Device back at his old antics here from Team Main with the Deagle. as his teammates start to work on Ali, but Hobbit's there with Mo, and that's a pretty solid defense here. Nades to sail in as well, and there's not armor to really sustain that damage for them.
Device doing the best he can with that deagle. TV broken towards Ivy. You can decide which team has to pay for it. 3 players remain for Astralis. Dupree coming out of Ivy with the 1 AK being wielded. Maybe there's a gun for his teammate Glaive to collect as well. Hobbit, normally the Ivy player, dead for the time being. Minutes on the clock for Astralis. Still lots of time for them to do some damage, and they will drag this out for as long as they can. Any opportunity would be welcome. Dozier trusted with the B bomb site alone. Zeus in the pot. Good timing from Adren. I won't speed anything up as far as still being very, very careful. Zepex this entire time above the ladder room, just waiting. But Adren, he is sharp. He is ready, but he hasn't spotted the bomb. Mo flanking, and I think he's seen it now, and that might just be the round. But again, it's a question of damage. The warning shot from Mo. Adren comes in to finish that off, and it's down to Zepex, stuck on a ladder.
I love the play there from Dupree, just trying to creep around the trains to find those angles and see if he can pick somebody off. And it's so cool because, that said as well, Gambit, I love the way that they fell back into the bomb site and tried to essentially deny as much as possible from the sense of, you know, what angles can they find to get picks from here, because the A yard is full of all these trains, these angles to deal with. There's so many spots to look at, so you really have to adjust and take those key positions where you can keep the teammates alive and not be exposed too much. Did that perfectly. Now they're sitting on 5-1, a great scoreline, and we see a lot of smokes here from Astralis, looking like they want to get into a bomb plant scenario.
Yeah, that is worst case scenario for them, to plant the bomb and die. Damage is a bonus, and that's what the P250s are for. The wall of smokes go in, and again, it's worth looking at the demos of Cloud9 to see how they respond to this on the CT side. That's what they do. The smoke you see from Zeus, they throw one, an automatic moves through it to stop the plant from going down, but Gambit not quite there. Maybe suggesting something with that smoke, but not going to commit to it. Just waiting for the retake, but he's used all his rifle bullets, and now he's dueling with a pistol as well. Gonna work out for him for the time being. Hobbit with a kill in the meantime. Dozy gets picked off, but there's more damage to be done here for Astralis.
Oh, absolutely, and we're going to see the remainder of Astralis challenged now by the oncoming CTs. And there is a flank from Ali that can be quite interesting. Nothing there for Zepex. Can Kirby get a cheeky headshot here? Looks like he'll be denied. Then there with the frag, and indeed, a very well handled round by Gambit. You've always got to weigh up the situation where you don't want to overcommit players in the round at a bad time and potentially lose more rifles than you'd otherwise want. You can give away a point, you don't have to stop it, just keep the integrity of your economy, and that's what Gambit were able to do. Building a lot of money at this point, actually, and we get the full AK buy. Just for
those who, some people on the screen, it might look like those booths have windows open at the front, but they don't. It's just the design of the booth. They are definitely closed. No audio going through any cracks in that respect. Grenades streaming into the A side. 3 grenades there, and 1 for Mo, but may work in his favor after all. Zepex will have to be careful, but Mo's repositioned now. But again, those anti-eco positions from the CTs, definitely worth looking at the Cloud9 response in the demos, which are available in your game at your leisure. Zeus trying to slow things down with a Molotov. He's exposed to main. He has to move back.
Well, we can see indeed just how exposed he is. Very awkward. Gets the gun out in time. Can't hit the shots. It's Hobbit with a double. Adren comes into play as well. He's got the foremost Hobbit. That's brilliant work there from him on Ali. That's the play completely destroyed here for Astralis in this round. It's all Glaive can do to try to eke out some additional damage, but he'll fail. That's 3 players left alive. What a play from Hobbit. Winning the round by himself, essentially.
Zeus is playing really aggressive for Gambit. It's almost like he's an entry fragger on the CT side. Maybe he wants to be the expendable one so he can direct his team afterwards. Here is Hobbit with a 2-man spray down, finding the ring and keeping it in a safe place. 7-1 if you're an Astralis fan. Is it time for concern? Gambit, this is not their first dominant string of rounds in this game, in this match. Dozier with the garden hose. Could call him Hosier, weeding out these plants of Astralis. And Adren finishing things off. A brief round, and in these eco rounds, these half-buy rounds, these buys between the buys, Astralis now making it to max loss bonus. They're not really doing much damage. Hobbit's on $13,000.
Glorious stuff there from Dozier, absolutely glorious. And you have to wonder if there's just like a creeping worry now in the Astralis camp.
Is he bro-fisting himself? Is he bro-fisting his face? Is that what he's doing?
He can do whatever he wants, man. The ex-god himself looking very fine so far. This game of train, Adren, oh, there goes the flash. That is great work there from Gambit. And again, talking about being proactive, they seem to find so much success in that. It's very intimidating to play against. Hobbits, they already have a man advantage. Don't want to get too crazy there on Ali and give up that position here to Astralis. Right now, Gambit can just force Astralis to make the move. Ooh, so scary there.
The odd beat from a machine. The failed boost from Gambit will compromise their position and maybe give too much information to dupreeh, but he's on his own. There's only so much he can do in a situation. The bomb towards B, device towards main for now. Playing the clock again, dupreeh very patient, and indeed, maybe that jump cost Adren his life. All they expect a second player in Hobbit. Hobbit's exposed though. I do wonder if Device can pick him off from his position. This is a position Device will play himself. And perhaps that pick from dupreeh is rotating the T's towards the A site. Device has been seen now, switching out his weapon. More CTs going for the high ground.
This is really hard. Such crisp stuff there from Mr. dupreeh, as it's now just two players left here. One for Gambit. Hobbit trying to find a way amongst the trains to get to safety, but safety will be stolen from him. A very, very needed round for Astralis. They're on 2 now. It's a long road to recovery, but that is going to give them some measure of confidence. But the problem is that Gambit did actually build a pretty nice economy in this string of rounds that they've won. So they're going to be hitting hard again into the next round with a big buy featuring Mo on the AWP. He's had a fairly quiet game so far. I wonder if we'll see more of Mo here. And Astralis with some alley presence to begin with.
This is the usual angle Mo will take at the beginning of a round. Well, towards main, then heading towards this position, but not finding a fatal shot. Presence known by the T's towards Ivy, but that's somewhat to be expected. The bomb is not far from them as well, but kept out of sight. And in response, Gambit maybe sending Hobbit into main. I don't know. I think he's on a train at the moment. Just harassing once again, but are they brazen enough to go for the same play?
It does seem like Gambit are in this mindset that they always just looking for it. Where can we get this aggression in? What can we do? What small plays can we make? Is it a pop flash? Is it just a full-on push? And right now they can't find anything just yet. Perhaps they don't want to get too aggressive at the front of the A yard just because of the presence they saw on Ali earlier on. You don't want to make that. You don't want to spread yourselves too thin, and he might fall back onto Adren and Dozier. They've been the dynamic duo for the B defenses so far. Perhaps, though, they'll be tested here once again as Astralis do begin to bring the bomb to B.
Waiting for the smoke to go, but here's a Molotov. And Dozier's close enough to hear that there are players in presence. Does that mean a rotation? dupreeh, he's running towards the A main, maybe trying to give sound cues, but now the T's are spotted, making plays towards the A site. But there are picks towards B. Which way do Astralis go? Zeus around the smoke, can't get a kill onto Device. And here comes the bomb. Hobbit on the site though, and he's got Mo to run distraction in the back.
Hobbit doing a good job there, still holding onto the bomb train. But for how much longer? Another nice frag there from him. He's holding this position very well. Mo is rotating in from Ali. He's the last man standing now with the AWP, looking for this 1v2 clutch. There's the first shot available, but Kirby's going to nail him straight in the face. It's going to be a round again for Astralis. A very hard one. The chaos there was absolutely unreal, but they managed to overcome it to bring themselves to 3 against the 8 that Gambits currently have.
That is a monster round for Astralis, planting the bomb with around 4 seconds on the clock, a very close round for them. That is a release of energy right there. Mo has bought an AWP. He had almost $9,000 in the bank, so the rest of his team around 3 to 4. Okay, seems they're going to force it up. So his use might be short. He can go mag 7. He's playing around the pop dog position, so this is viable for Gambit. Tactical timeout soon to expire from the Gambit side. And indeed, you see the mag 7 from Zeus looking for those meat shots up close. But what the problem for Zeus is, this limits the support he can offer towards the main area should it be required later on. If Hobbit goes towards main and gets picked off, then Zeus will be in a pickle. And that's something to be aware of. Limited grenades for Gambit. Dozier and Adren haven't bought just yet, and they're going to restart the round. So we'll soon see what Gambit will have to offer in full. Technical pause. We will get to experience these boosts tomorrow, Dan.
I know, right? When I walked in and that dawned on me, I was like, kind of had a holy crap moment. That's amazing. We don't have those in Quake, James.
Does that mean you're nervous?
Never played in a booth before.
They haven't announced the teams. I'm not going to digress too much away from the match. But while the pause is here, it'll be very interesting to see what the experience is like firsthand.
Yeah, and I do also wonder, you know, how difficult it can be to be, you know, the team with the against the home field advantage as well. I think that's a very interesting dynamic. I hope we see more and more of that in the
we definitely will.
Evolution. Yeah, absolutely.
We will see more of that later on.
Yep.
Will be brought to you by Monsieur Sadakist and Mr. Henry G.
It's interesting with this game too because it looks like Gambit just feels so much more comfortable getting that CT start on train. I guess, you know, generally a map that is a bit more simple in approach than an Inferno, and they've not fallen into that economic trap, so we're seeing a much better representation of their skill sets. And right now it's pretty scary. It's a really solid lead that they have on this third map. And I can't quite wrap my head around the possibility that we could have Gambit in the finals of the major, James, especially how competitive this major has been.
Yeah, but 8-3 looks good, but with Astralis winning the last 2 rounds, it's not as solid as it would seem, and I would be concerned if I was Gambit, because you've got to feel like you're a dog going into this, an underdog that is, not a general dog, obviously, but you've got to feel like you're an underdog going into this. So if, as Astralis start to come back, I mean, you really want those massive scorelines against them. You don't want to give them a chance to get back into this match. So Astralis, if they continue this momentum, then I would start to sweat if I was a Gambit fan. But I mean, 3 rounds on the board for Astralis. Can't be confident if you're a supporter of them either.
Yeah, it's definitely looking very, very scary at the moment. Yeah, Adren at the top of the scoreboard for Gambit with 13 and 8 at the moment for the Gambit side. He's doing a great job so far, and it's been great to see the playmaking capability from Hobbit as well. He's done a lot and had a lot of great impact towards the alley side of the map, and that's so important to have a very smart and capable player, well-rounded player that can play those dynamics, can make a play, but can understand sometimes that the best play is just to survive and to reposition and make sure that your teammates don't have to rotate because you die, which is a really big deal on the A side. The defense can collapse very quickly.
Just want to note that Adren and Dozier's defense of the B bomb site has been pretty solid. They're quite a dangerous duo to deal with over towards B, and have forced Astralis back towards the A site a number of times, or taken them to their doom. Either one works. So we've got some tech issues on the Astralis side. 2 or 5 players on the server at the moment, so hopefully it is resumed soon. Pretty packed Tauron Arena here in Krakow. My second time here. I was here, I think, 7 years ago. Apparently it's changed a lot. What hasn't changed is good Polish food.
I was about to say, what hasn't changed is that the pierogi is still amazing. Shout outs to pierogi. I haven't had, James, I haven't had Polish cheesecake yet. I keep looking for it. It's nowhere to be found.
I'm sure Pasha can lead us to some Polish cheesecake Christmas special.
I mean, considering how much you talk about it, I just...
Polish cheesecake is the best thing in the world. You see, they agree. Polish cheesecake is awesome. I had a Polish Christmas this Christmas. It was great, man. Got my pierogi game on, homemade borscht, everything. It was marvelous. Players incoming shortly, I am told. I am promised by production. Astralis in good spirits. You can see a smiling device, which is good, especially considering you're 6 rounds down.
And the thing as well is that it's much like Overpass. You know, they are going to be so confident that their CT side's going. You know, that they have such an amazing CT side. It's really just a case that as long as you have, you know, those 3 to 5 rounds, and you know you are able to take that pistol, then you're in a comfortable situation, even if you're behind a few rounds. The only disaster or nightmare situation is if you only get like 3 rounds, and okay, maybe you have just enough to survive, and then you lose the pistol. That's really the nightmare scenario. But I think that Astralis should be able to avoid this situation. As you said, there's a few rounds left in this first half. They've got some momentum now. They're finding some success. They're very close to breaking the money completely, I believe, of Gambit, because we'll find out when things do resume how that situation is going. So a lot to be worked with for Astralis. Did you select your GoTV players, James? Because you have a habit of doing this.
That's a good point, actually.
I believe you did not do that.
It's hard to remember sometimes. So, GoTV picks. Let me just pick the top fraggers and just pretend.
There we go.
Let's see. I mean, to be honest, Adren and Dozier on the CT side, their defenses, there are 3 rounds left of this first half, but while those rounds still exist, when they're on the bye, I think it's a good pair of players to watch them hold things down and defend from the Astralis players. So I'd say Adren and Dozier on the B bomb site. Would you have picks for the T side of Astralis?
I mean, I probably would just say Device, to be honest, just because he's amazing, obviously, with every weapon, and he's going to be the guy that gets the AWP. If there's an AWP on the team, he's going to be the one looking for the picks and trying to, you know, enable his players that way. So generally, I think he's always a safe bet in that sense.
Device.
The crazy thing, James, is that when we did the Immortals game on Train, they went with, what was it, double AWP, auto sniper. Was like, that seemed like their default setup, and I was like, this is cool. I want to see more of this.
That was amazing. Maybe we will see more of that later. Okay, everybody's back on the server. Rounds are being restored, and we may just be back into the game soon enough. Indeed, the unpause is there, so here we go. It's used with the MAP3. It's a limited buy for Gambit as we move into the dying rounds of the first half, but they have the lead. Question is, can they retain it versus an Astralis looking to defend their crown?
So here we go, we get to see now exactly what the plan is for the Astralis side. They've got, of course, the AWP onto Mr. Device, of course. Some forward smokes here from the CTs. Gambit looking to pressure and waste some grenades here of Astralis, and maybe perhaps force them into Zeus, which would be perhaps quite spectacular, as he is right now holding on to a MAG-7, a great weapon for the pop dog position, or even quick pushes into the inner areas. Astralis are gathering towards B, and you were talking about the defense that can be offered by Dozier and Adren. Perhaps we'll see another one of those, because it's like Astralis are intent on B at the moment.
And Adren's made his way back towards B with really good timing. Gambit put 4 into A, but he's ready for the defense. Zeus is still in the ladder room. Maybe he'll come into play later. No smoke on the top half from Astralis, and they're all charging towards Connector. Nobody going for the side just yet. Device with a great frag onto Dozier. What a great start from Astralis.
Yeah, he does a lot of damage, but if he does go down, it's going to be a tough situation now to hold on to. Astralis are pushing the issue all the way to the ends of the train yard as Dupree sits there providing presence in the flank, which is just too much to ignore here. And Hobbit down to 10 makes his escape, and Zeus has barely moved from Pop Dog. Not too much that he can do with a MAG-7 at this point in time. And for Astralis, a lot of this is going to be about if they can possibly take some guns away here from Gambit. don't have perfect money, but there is enough to maybe sacrifice an additional player. We'll see if they decide to make that choice. They do have a player moving up alley, I believe that is Dupree at the moment, who could encounter Hobbit. Hobbit has a great position though. Will Dupree expect this? Only 10 HP, gonna be perfect. And perfection was not achieved, nor was it achieved for Zeus. That is perfect there for Astralis.
Can only assume a foot was seen and the wallbang was there. They've broken the money of Gambit, who may have to save. There were 4 rounds remaining, okay, because of the restore. So 3 rounds to go. Gambit can aim to win 2 of these 3 rounds, whereas Astralis will look for all 3. Far ahead in economy now, 4 rounds behind, sorry. They will look for the 7-8 scoreline. So let's see what Gambit have to offer with this almost non-buy. High explosive from Dozier, doesn't get much done. There's a lot of movement around connected. They push through B with 2 players as well. Not wanting to wait around for this one. It's useful for 1 kill, but they will lose everybody in a matter of seconds. A brief round from Astralis, and we're back onto the buy for CTs.
Nice. That's how you want to do it, James. You want to just get in there, do the business, get out, get into the next round.
It's not nice, it's nice.
And rounds like that, explosive rounds, also add to that momentum, that feeling of confidence that Astralis possess at this point in time. They've been having a lot of success. It is their time in this first half now, perhaps, as we get Sipex looking to get the Molotov there to deny any aggressive AWP plays, but Gambit not playing it very passively towards the just a Dozier, who is just resting there at the bottom of the ramp. Not really doing too much at the moment, just holding back, playing passively, and that's because his teammates were 4 towards A there. Hobbit not really doing too much towards Ali as well, just looking over things. So some of that proactive play that we've come to expect from Gambit is not present in this round, and that gives Astralis some space, and they're starting to close in.
Slowly down the ramp, and Dozier's in a more forward position this time. The longer he can hold there, the more support can come in for the CTs. Adren has made his way halfway through the site. He can move forward and try and put the bomb plant, but will he be able to? He's got more important targets. Sipex won't get followed up. He's in the red, but he's not dead. Glaive with a massive flank. He will hit the scope. Sipex just has to hide. Glaive, they have no idea where is the second player looking to play, make a championship play here. Hobbit, they don't know where he is yet. Oh, he's killed his teammate! Dan, this time it's for real. But it's no good for Hobbit. He's got to bait Glaive to the point of no return. And he does it. A 9th round on the board. Where's the communication? They're talking by pigeon mail, and it did not get there fast enough.
What the hell was that? That's absolutely unbelievable.
He's been paid off. Dozier promised him wealth, wonder, everything he wanted. Oh boy.
Hashtag not like this.
Is that the round? Is that the round? Time will tell.
Not like this. Oh dear. That's such a big problem, isn't it? Astralis now in a position where they are on 5 rounds. There is still the opportunity to get round number 6, and you can see the frustration there. Sonic trying to console him.
Sonic is putting out the fires in the Astralis booth. Sonic is a man. Speaking of men, there are 10 men on the server, 2 of which are Kiabi and Dupree, looking for a close quarters engagement with Hobbit. 1 man down per side. That's got to favor Astralis.
Yeah, absolutely. And Device now, again, we know what happens when you get a man down in the A yard. It creates more space here for the T's to make forward plays. It's exactly what Device is doing now. Able to push further. Gets a nice snap there onto Adren. And now more could follow from a Device as yet more space is open for the Astralis side, as they also have B as a great option. Allow Device just to keep causing distraction, cause terror to this A bomb site. Device is their worst nightmare right now, as the bomb can make its way soon to B, or perhaps Device will do it all by himself and his trusted AWP. It's just Dozier who remains. Device finally falls, but the trade is there. What a insane round there from Device.
6 rounds on the board for Astralis. Is it enough? They certainly think so. Gambit have been somewhat notorious with the pistol rounds so far in this tournament. Haven't won them all versus Astralis. But when you see that 9-6 scoreline, We can have a close game, or we can have a landslide. This is a very important pistol round for both of these teams. Winner of this map goes to the final.
Just letting that statement soak in a bit, because that is a heavy one. Here we go. Freeze time ticks down, and it's going to be a brief moment of calm before the storm between these two teams, and before the headshots start to rain in. We've got, of course, the classic smoke kit onto Glaive. Everybody else opting for Kevlar on the Astralis side. They are looking to fight down these long channels, which are afforded to them on a map like Train. And Gambit, a lot of utility on Zeus, but that's about it. Also looking to fight. I like that we have the Deagle on the Dren. He's been great with it this tournament.
Train, one of the easier maps to Deagle on from the perspective that there are lots of long, narrow channels. So your potential spread is not that huge. The Dren being teased and being denied. Story of many a young boy. Device, the third man in the B-bomb site for the CTs. Just waiting for Gambit to make their play. Gambit to show their cards, perhaps.
A very slow start indeed, just trying to make sure that they can catch something, but nothing is happening from that perspective. Astralis not sticking their necks out there. They are going to play very patiently. They know what they're doing. Gambit forced to go to the B-bomb site, it seems, as there are 3 defenders here and almost a 4th on the way. Device trying to get some bullets in there. How much damage will he do as they start to rush down the slope? Dupree on the bomb site there. That's a fantastic tap there from Dupree. What else has he got in store? Nothing. It looks like Mo to respond to absolute chaos here on the B-bomb site.
Mo is not done with them quite yet. 4 on 2, but never count any team out on a pistol round. Kiabi coming in from the back, but Mo's ready for him. Time to reload for Mo. Knows roughly where both players are now. Looking for the burst fire is Mo. Very cheeky stuff. In the meantime, Zeus gets the kill. 1 versus 3. He stressed the importance of this pistol round. It will go the way of Gambit. 10-6. Looking for that 12-6 before Astralis can buy. Do they go for the force buy, Astralis? It seems that they will.
Yeah, this is such a weird situation, isn't it? They would love to be in a spot where they would be afforded lots of time, but here, you know, Gambit are indeed in this position where they could take quite a lead, but at the same time, you really want to respect your buy rounds, what you can do, how many rounds you can string together when you have all the grenades, when you have the AWPs, but indeed, they're going for the full force. It's just Device keeping $850 in the bank for the later. But the thing here is that Train is actually quite difficult as from the team perspective to run your anti-force buy. There are a lot of potential problems with the way that the map is designed, with all the trains and long channels and the nooks and crannies that you have to check. A buy like this from Astralis can be very damaging and oftentimes, well, often enough round winning as well.
Someone in the crowd is trying to communicate by Morse code. Up there, I just wanted to mention that. There's literally Morse code in the crowd.
Oh yeah.
In the meantime, it's 10-6 for Gambit. Now, I would wonder about time for Gambit. The pressure of time can be an issue when you're on an anti-force buy. And this is such an important one. Funneling through main will cause them problems. Dupree gets a kill, an unanswered kill. The T's don't really have a spread. They're all coming through main, and Hobbit's just waiting in the pop dog area. Time touch is not a big issue just yet. Those are 3 very important kills, and Dren and Hobbit will sweep up the rest. I was worried, Dan. I was worried for Gambit, but they look good for a 12-6.
I just worked out what an SOS.
Really?
The Morse code, yeah. 3 fast ones, 3 slow ones, I think.
Maybe they are an Astralis supporter, because it is 11-6. And the lights at the end of the tunnel is getting dimmer. The batteries are starting to die.
Is it to be the end or the beginning of a big comeback here for Astralis? Obviously the eco, we've got to get that out of the way with first. Lots of damage being thrown in here by these AKs. Gambit using the ranges. It always feels so hopeless when you're the guy stuck with the USPs. Got to fight against MAP10s, AKs. You got no helmet. You got no nothing. It's tough. It's a tough life. At least it should be brief here for Astralis in this round.
Hobbit needs to be careful. There are a lot of CTs alive. Never mind that. There are 2 CTs alive now. Never mind. Device doing what he, sorry, Dupree doing what he can, but what can he do in this situation? Dozier doesn't need to repeat. Oh man. Well then, we have got to the business end of this match, of this series. Astralis, expected in the final, currently half the score of Gambit, who are very close to the finish line, but it's not quite time to put a foot there yet, and maybe they will never get an opportunity to. Very big round for both teams. Device is AWP, no Kevlar. This is one of the best maps to do it. Such long ranges on train for the most part. Astralis need results. They will ask questions with their guns and they need answers in Gambit on the other end of them. They will look to puncture the chests of these players, but will they be able to?
Mo looking for that aggression there, not to be found though. Indeed, it's really, really scary for Device being naked right now. Those grenades are very annoying, very strong when you've got no Kevlar. And Gambit, they might just be looking to go in for a B play here in Astralis. They do have 2 players in good positions to respond to that. Limited on the counter grenades. See Zipex and Glaive waiting and ready, and here they come. Gambit Esports, the strength of the T side now into the B-bomb site, flooding in onto it, but still Zipex is alive. He's going to make a play through the smoke. How much will he get here? That's a great flash and a great kill. Back through the smoke once again, causing all kinds of problems here for Gambit as his teammates get positions onto the retake.
Zipex, he goes down, but he's got lots of info on positions for his teammates. Hobbit still with a MAC-10, waiting for his CTs to get closer. The Molotov will give them some safety, and Dupree will finish things off in that respect. Dozier being teased with the sniper rifles. Zeus is in the same position, playing a double peek here, but he's not quite getting the kill yet. Zeus with a perfect spray, and now it's Dozier. He's got to find this, he's got to make the hero play. He's going to bounce the grenade off, it's not going to do enough damage. The Deagle's there as well, but there's no peek. 3 seconds, he's got a peek. Device, he's got the angle, he will be successful. Astralis down, but not out. 7 rounds for the CT side.
That was a close one, that was a close one. And now we've got the double of James. You love to see it, double up here on the CT side of train. Very fun to watch, very powerful. Glaive and Device will be holding on to those. Where's the auto sniper at, James? Where is the auto sniper? I think that's a bit too much to ask, isn't it? But it's quite an expensive gun, maybe when they've got some more money.
Yeah, those were the Carrigan days, perhaps, but he's long gone now. Glaive is firmly in charge, largely in charge for AWP. 4 Astralis players will begin in A. Standard stuff. You'll often find 1 CT towards B at the beginning of a round. Gambit slowly creeping for their map control above the B bomb site. Dozier and Adren joining them, so this may be a faster play from the T side, as they have given up practically all of their map control. Dupree, the only man who can get sound cues at the moment around the pop dog area. Glaive maybe with an unexpected angle, but the smoke is down. The push is here, but Zipex is not having any of it. A 3K from Zipex, that is massive.
And what is left here now? Zeus able to get a frag onto Device, and that is something in response to the bomb is in a position to be planted too, but Mo's taking his time, wanting to get a pick off, seeing if there was an overextension. But Astralis are playing it perfectly at the moment, no overextension from them, forcing the bomb to go down. And Zeus, this 1v1, it is so intensely important at the moment. Turning away, throws the grenade, has no idea surely, but actually getting to turn the corner, then the AK not good enough. It's down to Mo. He knows he has to turn back here. He's got to deal with the flank. It's so crucial. Dupree must die for success to be had here for Mo. And he's being forced. Dupree playing it absolutely perfectly there, baiting the shot, forcing him up the ramp, and ultimately taking him down. Another round for the Danes.
That is exquisite play from Astralis, making Gambit squirm for that one. and it was not successful. All of a sudden, the gap doesn't look so big, doesn't look like a canyon, almost like a cavity in a tooth. Those 4 rounds for Gambit may be very, very difficult to get at this point. They've got the money to buy Gambit, but Astralis may just get stronger with every round. A monstrous play from Zipex to put him in a fantastic spot. One of the best B players, if not the best, in the world.
Yeah, that was beautiful spray control there from Zipex. Even in, under so much pressure, so you can tell there's so much experience. There's no shakiness there. Decisive, clean spray control.
AWPs continue. 3 on the server. A lack of grenades for Gambit. They need picks. The Adren moving quickly into main. Not sure if he's detected, but he's alone. And it seems that he is. Look at these grenades. It's being baited into the angle, somehow escapes. But now how do Gambit get back in? That's cost them some of the little grenades they had. They've got 2 smokes, 2 flashes, Gambit. There isn't a lot going on for the T side.
It's very curious now, this play towards Ali. And Kirby's up there looking for it, playing in front of the smoke. You can see that they suspect shenanigans there. That's a good Molotov, but that is such a sick angle from Kirby. You can see exactly why he's playing that angle. So favorable, gets the pick off, gets back through the cover of smoke into safety, and now there's a 1-man advantage. And if we look at the utility for Gambit, there's not a huge amount of it, just 2 players with smokes, and now that's 1 smoke out of the picture. That's a player out of the picture too. Helmet's down, and it's up to Adren, Mo, and Dozier to find some opening somewhere, and the time is really becoming an issue.
Surely they can only go to B. Too many angles in the A site when you're on a 3 versus 5. And if they go there, they have to run there, and Dupree is in position to hear this. 24 seconds remain as Gambit slowly creep. They sacrifice Adren to the fake, and that leaves 2, and they will give up on the round. Hold the AWP for a future round. And Astralis, as you can see, they know it. Astralis showing their tactical supremacy, their prowess, their strength as they continue to come back. 3 rounds between the 2 sides. Beyond the pistol, really, Gambit haven't won a round. You've got to ignore the force buy and the eco round from Astralis. And look at the buy rounds, and they haven't won a single one.
Yeah, Charlotte's looking very good right now, very confident. And they know, they believe. There's no wavering at all so far as they understand that they are supposed to lift that trophy. That is their trophy to be had. They're the best team here. There's no reason to doubt themselves. This is the kind of mindset that they have to keep themselves composed. Twice with a forward smoke there, and we'll see Mo looking for something, but denied ultimately with that smoke down. So a picking opening here from Gambit, trying to get something done with Mo's AWP. Again, I haven't seen a huge amount of this just yet. Oh, that is perfect. What a read there. Such a beautiful read. That did about 100 damage to him, just less than. That's a really good nade.
Mastery of the map. That is what you are currently witnessing from Astralis. Gambit unable to do anything, unable to see anything, and 2 players are at half health. 1 minute on the clock, the bomb left outside main. But Gambit, they're playing it slow, but they're not really getting much of anything done at the moment. And they will be pushing against a full force Astralis wherever and whenever they choose to do it. We've seen that boost on Connector has been devastating for teams so far in this major, and maybe it will continue. 35 seconds, Gambit, you've got almost no grenades. You've got to make a play now.
And they're looking to go in, but it's Dupree to answer first. The spray from Kirby doesn't hit its mark, and there could be a chance here now for the Gambit side. They have to get the bomb planted. There's 20 seconds to do that. There's not really the coverage. There's still a player that can come down in Pop Dog to actually stop this from happening. Adrent, though, lurking over the top of the train with the Tech 9 causing problems. Glaive, all denied there. Very important coverage there from the teammate of Zipex. Is the last man standing in this 1 versus 2 clutch, but this is what he's made to do.
He has a kit. Adren is on the complete wrong side of the train. It's down to Mo. If Mo goes down, there are big problems. Adren spotted. Where is Mo? Zipex trying to make a play, but Adren brave enough, smart enough to go for the re-peek in that situation. He knows that Zipex is scared of the second player, doesn't know where he is, and that gives Adren a confidence to re-peek. 2 AWPs continue for Gambit. This is a massive round for Gambit. There's almost no money left after this buy comes in for Astralis. If Astralis lose this round, they could not be further away from the finals.
That isn't a lot of utility there for the Astralis side. It's going to be a struggle, and I wonder if we'll see more proactive play as we did, for example, from Gambit on their CT side. You know, getting those pop flashes in to CT main and so on. It's a very, very difficult situation to be playing really long rounds when you're struggling on utility. You don't have all the incendiaries and so on. It's they make a very big difference here. So Astralis really fighting up against everything right now.
Look at those zeros on the Astralis overlay. They literally have got nothing in their pockets but knives and lints. This is the all-in round for Astralis. If they are to have any chance of winning this match, it has to be now. It has to be this round. Device, AWP, no Kevlar, 3 players towards A. It might be a push here from Astralis. It is. They're rushing the B bomb site, but maybe they were heard. Hobbit ready for it, and Astralis will be forced to back off. No early pick there, but Dozier will be taken down elsewhere.
Yeah, losing out that battle against Device on Ali is where things start off here for Astralis in the efforts to make it through this very troubling time here on round number 23. Another tease there for Device to have as Zeus is playing with Ali, creating presence here for Gambit, showing some position there, keeping the questions in mind for Astralis as to what on earth Gambit are going to go for. And Gambit have a weird situation here. They've got 2 orbs. They're almost committed to keep running pick-based plays. And if they lose another one and go down 5 versus 3, it's going to be really hard for Gambit to do anything and get onto a bomb site. But perhaps Hobbit can make the difference.
Ooh, Ninja plays from Zipex, and he'll end up baiting for Kiabi. It is falling apart for Gambit. Their money's not in the right place either. If Astralis can win this in the numbers, they have opportunity to build some more cash. They can make their comeback. Gambit, 40 seconds remain. 1 by 1, it is falling to pieces for them. They are left without choice. What can they even do in this situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's that risk you run if you go for a double setup and you actually start losing the picking situations at the start, as Device was able to best Dozier. Then you're sort of committed into continuing that style because of the double orbs. If that doesn't work out, it's so hard to move onto a bomb site. And that mobility on the T side is so incredibly crucial on the T side of a train, because then you can really exploit when there's rotation of the CT setup. But see, Gambit, as you said, there's just no choice for them in this round.
We have seen double ops on the T side collapse a team time and time and time again. It is a very tricky thing to be effective with, and if one thing goes wrong, everything can fall apart. There we are. Gambit taking an AWP and an AK into this round. What will they do with the remainder of the team and their money? They will buy some here and there. They're not going to fully invest. They want to be able to buy as a team in the future rounds, should it be required.
Ren going for a cheeky one here. Denied though, very nicely done by Dupree. But how many more times will he be denied, James? That's the question.
The upper area cleared for Gambit, but that only means so much. They have struggled to get an opening kill, to create some space beyond what is normally expected in these rounds. 3 Tech 9 to the side. They've got some grenades, but again, they will be subject to the grenades of Astralis, which always seem to hit the spot on this map of Train. It's a Pixen device with a stronghold towards B for the time being, and Gambit continues to harass and show presence on Ivy, but they're not doing more than showing presence. Again, they're going to have to just storm into one of these sites. They've got the smokes to execute towards A, or do they? One being deployed very late towards Ivy. There's an aggressive play from the CTs, but nobody picked off indeed. Adren will be the first to go down.
There is it. Critical damage done to Glade. Still a chance here for the Gambit side as that the smoke starts to dissipate, and there's more opportunity here for Gambit to get these angles working in their favor. Mo has found a forward position in the yard now. He just has to pick away, but the problem is that his team is being picked away. He's going to have no one left to play with, and indeed that's the case. Whiffs his shot, can't really do that in this situation. It's going to be all he can do to survive now. That's a good defensive shot now as they pursue him. Hot on his heels. Great shot there from Mo, but it's all in the end a failure for his side. They do concede the round to the Danes. Astralis now grinding each round back 11 to 13 now from their perspective. They're 2 away from tying this one.
Gambit just not really offering much in these rounds. They're waiting out the smokes, taking some grenade damage, and just not really going beyond the choke points. Just dying there eventually, slowly but surely. An eco round from Gambit. They look towards the buy in the next round. They'll only have 2,400 loss bonus at this point, and their lead is sinning evermore. Astralis very comfortable. Astralis with 5 of the last 6 rounds. Zipex alone towards B. Just one by one, the pins of Gambit get knocked down.
Yeah, just a matter of time. Zeus and Hobbit are not long for this world.
There isn't really a coordinated attempt. I think Zeus is just using this round to talk to his team. He's standing in T-spawn at the moment, reminiscent of existence teams. Can have a much longer tactical timeout in this fashion. Get the team on the correct page. You'll eventually run to his doom, make a hero play, try and get the bomb down. Doesn't want to die after time. Maybe he'll look for Kiabi. He's heavily tagged. And hasn't had much of this game so far. Kiabi and Glaive on 9 kills, but they're making it work. Zeus still talking to his team. Lots of verbal going on. Can see Dupree knows where Zeus is now. The jump gives his position away. But again, the key is to get the team in the right mindset. The next round is a big one, and they cannot capitulate again. Cannot give Astralis the lead. Ever so slowly, walking to his demise, like a march off the side of a ship. 13 to 12. And Zeus is still taking the timeout. Still more to talk about. And you can see he needs it. We've got heads on Fist Stan. People have got to get their heads in the game.
Yeah, they can feel it slipping away at this point.
Zeus is top fragging for his team.
Well, he's a beast, James. He is a beast. There is no question.
Leading by example. He is leading by example in the game and out of the game. But a tactical pause has come and gone. Gambit, can they get back to winning ways, or will Astralis continue their march towards grand finals here in Krakow, Poland? We will soon find out. It's a comparison of the AWPers there. Device will definitely be having a better time of it on the CT side. Seen some kills from Mo while he was trying to save in a desperate situation. Not really ideal.
Device looking to start things off well here for his team. Obviously, the smokes will make things a little bit more awkward in finding those angles that he is looking for. And there's no AWP to contest with, and I like that we're going to have 5 AKs again for Gambit. Make them much quicker, much more dynamic, much better trading and playing off each other as they march into the A site to go for the take. And Dupree absolutely blinded there. That is a great start here for Gambit. Device now with everything to do with that AWP.
The entire T team is here. They have half of the bomb site. There are smokes done everywhere. There's no flank for these CTs. The bomb's getting planted. What is the play from Astralis? They've got money in the bank. They can afford to try and go for this, but the kills keep coming for Gambit. Glaive and Device remain. Device around the Ivy position. Seems to know where Adren is, but Adren has some breathing space. He can keep entertaining him, but he's forced into the scope of Glaive.
There's not going to be much time left here for the CTs here. It's getting very tense indeed. Now just down to Device against 3 players who are playing perfectly, keeping themselves out of these positions. They're not peeking at all whatsoever, as they shouldn't be. And that's Device now with nothing left to do but just save this AWP, eke out an extra frag if he possibly can, but that won't be the case. Whatever Zeus said to his team, it must have been pretty good, James, because that was a phenomenal round from them.
Money always helps as well. 2 rounds away are Gambit. 2 rounds away from grand finals. Astralis defending for their lives in this tournament. 14-12. Now the question is, do Gambit go back to the super slow pace and perhaps wait too long and not get anything done? Do they go back into that nightmare, or will they continue their momentum? Lots of grenades being thrown by both sides. 2 smokes down in A. 4 Astralis players in aggressive position, some of them, around the ladder room, around main. But Zeus, with the headshot, he's carrying the bomb as well. Got to be careful. And a friend charging in as well.
It's happening again. We saw it in the last round. Gambit looks somehow unstoppable, possessed by something absolutely out of this world at the moment. This aggression is so strong from Gambit. Just Zipex left behind the train, and there is nowhere to hide. Zeus goes for the plant, covered by Mo. They really are possessed by the beast right now, Gambit. They are on match point here. They are so close to being in the major finals. Would you ever have believed to see a day such as this?
Poles cheering for Gambit now as they wait for their own team to turn up on the stage. Match point Gambit. This is Astralis' first timeout in this game, if I'm not mistaken. Indeed it is. Zeus showing his worth as a teammate, as a captain, as a fearless, experienced leader. Still talking to his team, leading by example. Zeus, 24 kills, nobody has more on the server. Is this it for Gambit? The money's gone for Astralis, a scout for Device, 2 M4s and mere pistols for the rest of them. If you're gonna do it, Zeus, it's going to be now.
Everybody take a deep breath. Astralis on their last legs at the moment. Are they to be toppled here, though? Glaive waiting anxiously there by Popdog. One of the few players on the team with an actual rifle in the most important rounds. And Gambit are really making them sweat here, slowing down the pace. The focus there, can you imagine the focus? It looks like Gambit have decided, though, that it is time to start to make the move, because here they go into A.
He knows he's there, Adren, but can he do anything about it? Dozier, Adren, CT's falling to the flames, falling to the bullets, cold steel. And minutes on the clock, the bomb has to get retrieved. Zipex keeps his team in it. A 2 versus 3 Device, still over towards Ivy, still with the scout, but the bomb's heading towards B. And look how deep Hobbit is. He's gonna be a nasty surprise for these CTs.
What are they going to do right now? Hobbit, though, he still could actually get caught in the back, it seems, but it looks like they don't even know that it's going to be B. They thought perhaps they were going back to A. Device has to clutch 1 versus 3 with just a scout. Adren, Mo, and Hobbit with all the time in the world to position. Hobbit sitting there in connector, a dangerous position. Device knows to look out for it, misses the flick shot, and Gambit have done the unthinkable. They will be in the major finals.
A massive, massive result from Gambit. That is quite the scalp, quite the skull to put on your mantelpiece. But I know Gambit are not done yet. They are the first team to make their way into the Krakow major finals. A massive result from them, going all the way versus Astralis, down to the wire. Can only imagine what Zeus said to his team, using the round as a tactical timeout, making all the difference. The support for Kazakhstan is there. This international team with a humongous result, perhaps the biggest of their careers as a team together so far.
It's insane the difference, isn't it, after he had that chat? A team that looks like they were struggling to a team that was possessed by some unbelievable confidence, just storming out of every single choke point to take the bomb site in the most convincing way. That is an incredible way to put yourself into the finals. I'm without words, to be honest.
That is an absolutely unreal performance from Gambit. And one thing is for sure, this major is going to have a new champion. Over to you, Paul. Oh, sorry, it's an interview on the desk.
Sir Scoot's down on the stage. I am with a very shaky but very happy Adrian. How's it feel?
Incredible. I feel, I don't know, no words. Thank you guys.
So you tweeted earlier in the week that your team had helped you get to the playoffs and that you needed to step up. You obviously stepped up, but let's talk a little about MAP3. You beat Astralis on Overpass. Mo, 33 kills, played out of his mind.
I don't know what happened. He played, I think, his best game ever. So, I don't know. I don't have words, sorry.
Good time for the best game ever. Let's talk about the third map. Obviously, it's very, very close in that first half. Unfortunately, Glaive does a team kill. Changes the momentum of that last round, or last two rounds, I should say. Kind of gives you a little bit more momentum and confidence going into that second half.
Yeah, we felt confidence again after that. We knew that they nervous as well, so we are like, we got this. And we knew that we can win this. We started to believe.
Now here's the last big important question. Immortals, Virtus Pro are about to play, right? You're already in the finals. You're really close to that trophy. You want to beat VP here?
Yeah, we won, definitely, yeah.
He wants to play the best, right?
Yeah, right. We want Virtus Pro in the final.
All right, good luck to you. Paul, back to you at the desk.
It's been a long time coming for that man. I'm super thrilled for Adren, as he will make a major final for the first time in his career. Zeus, on the other hand, will be heading there for the third time. Twice before with Na'Vi, of course, his third time. The lucky one. We'll find out tomorrow as they go into that grand final. Brilliant, brilliant display from Gambit. And Yanko, I guess you've got a smile on your face right now, because part of it is the incomprehension of what just happened, and part of it is just being so happy for the Gambit team.
I don't know, it's just madness when you think about it. We got down to 3 teams now in the tournament. None of them are in the top 10 like on the ranking. So Gambit obviously played like the best team in the world in this series, managed to take down the best team in the world to secure a spot in the grand finals. But you know, it's just insane that this could even happen. Everyone was thinking SK versus Astralis. That was the grand final. Before the grand final, Astralis taking the win there. You know, everyone expected them. Okay, now it's the grand finals, and potentially maybe VP with the home crowd can stop them. But Gambit just had the game of their lives.
They haven't read the script at all here, have they? This is not meant to be how it happens. So.
Absolutely, but you know, everything again happened the way it needed to for Gambit. Winning both pistols in this game, having control of the economy in that first half, and you know, towards the end of the game, you could see Astralis, you could see the comeback happening. Gambit losing multiple gun rounds, having a very, very you know, slow style, and I think that was the last timeout that they had that Zeus used, and after that they sped up the pace, focused more on negating Dupree's influence around Pop. You could see the gun round after the timeout. I think they threw 3 or 4 flashes down there to just try and get rid of him. They storm out of Pop and Team Mid, and they do that 2 gun rounds in a row, and that really was what won them the game in the end.
Robin, I want to pick up on something that Zeus did towards the end of the match. which is what we call the running timeout, which is something that Khan used to do in Fnatic back in the day in 1.6. He kind of started that ball rolling where you basically, it is an eco, but you give it away. You basically give up on it. You don't really care about it too much. You stay in T-spawn, you talk to the rest of the team, you tell them what you want to do, talk to them about what needs to change. He did that.
Yeah.
And how effective was that afterwards as well?
I mean, it's super smart, right? Especially when you consider the timeouts we have right now. You only have 4 per game, and maybe you needed more time. So you call that you call that eco, and you essentially do another timeout, which is 2 minutes extra, right?
Yeah.
Something we don't necessarily see all too much. I mean, if you compare it to Astralis, for example, this last map, they only used 1 of their timeouts, whereas for Gambit, then essentially had 5. And I think that was extremely important, especially for Gambit, because you did see it start slipping away from them on their T side. It was just, yeah, you do see that the tendency of slow play coming from that Gambit, but it wasn't pretty at all. Like, it was just spreading out, doing defaults, and then 20 seconds left, and you had nothing to show for it. And then at the end of it, I was waiting for just some fast plays coming from Gambit, winning that second to last round very fast. I was not expecting Zeus to even do a remotely even close similar round the round after, but it's just like, hey, it worked, let's just try it again with a little bit slower pace and end up winning that round. And I think that's definitely what they needed, because Astralis was doing a really good job there early on in the game and just getting those initial picks and just making sure that Gambit did not get in control.
Terrific game, and obviously we'll take a look at the scoreboard powered by Boomio in just a moment and show you all of the things that this team have done in this particular game. Dupree, the highlight for Astralis with 24 for 22, but over on the Gambit side, Zeus top scoring.
Who would have thought that?
I mean, you can't just in-game lead, he has to lead the scoreboard as well.
Leading by example, right? And even yesterday, he and Dosha both of them had a great game in that quarterfinal versus Fnatic. So for him to have another great performance here in the decider game obviously means a lot. Unfortunate for Dupree, he had a great game on both halves, on the T side, between entry fragging in some executes and lurking in others. On the CT side, as we mentioned, a lot of pressure he was applying by himself, just being very aggressive around that pop dog area. And the one that stands out here, unfortunately, is Kirby. Had only 9 kills in the game, and we know that he, in these big games, actually tends to step up and be the guy who makes the difference for Astralis.
Yeah, not this time round. The defending champions are out, Robin.
Yeah.
It's always disappointing when the defending champions go, because you want that kind of story of, they followed in their footsteps and they've done it again and what have you. And we talked about the potential for an Astralis era that's come to a crashing end in the semi-finals. And I guess the big question is that they've still done okay this time. It's still another top 4 finish, but it's another run of those top 4 finishes without a title.
I mean, it's definitely not what you were expecting, right? Like, we were discussing throughout this whole weekend that SK Astralis game, that was supposed to be a final, and then it ends up being in the quarters, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, Astralis should be given then in the quarterfinal or in the grand final, but there's Gambit just sitting there waiting for him. And then, so like Janko said, the last 3 teams we have are not even top 10 teams. Like, who would have thought? Pick'ems?
Yeah,
I have a very hard time saying no one's going to get any gold.
No, destroyed, actually,
what we can conclude is Gambit does not care about any of our storylines.
No, they don't care about storylines, and they don't care about the script, and they don't care about our pick'ems.
Another thing I just want to point out as well, just the fact that it's like you boot off this player off of a team that was not really working, which is obviously Zeus. He joins this team where it's like, well, I don't necessarily have any more choices. This is a team I can work with, and then look at him now, right?